Just a thought on the trade, first off, and obviously you got what you wanted to do in getting those guys off their books.
Yeah, obviously, I talked to Clint Kostin's agent multiple times. Really was negotiating against the KHL, so knew we weren't going to be able to find a way to keep him. So obviously had to trade a player. Steve Eisman was really interested in Clint Kostin, and obviously $3 million for Yamo. I had to get some money off the cap.
And it's future considerations. You have no idea what that's like.
It's just future considerations.
It's so hard to make roster player for roster player moves right now. Usually at the draft we see something happen. There's other than you, there's been no real moves.
Well, I mean, the Caps moved, you've heard this, I mean, the Caps moved $2 million in 5 years, so it just gets tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, and then, obviously there's the teams that have cap space, or many of them are probably they're on the upcome or they're rebuilding, and, they have to decide if they want to spend money or not.
How do you look at the free agent class, like unrestricted free agent class just in general this year, with where it kind of fits with, there's not a lot of big names, there's sort of middle class?
Yeah, lots of middle class. There's probably some good pros out there. Probably not many high impact players.
Are you looking more to be busy on July 2nd and 3rd rather than the 1st?
You know what? Obviously I want to get Bouchard signed. I want to get McLeod signed. You guys know who the top 5 forwards are. I mean, our defense is pretty well in place. So obviously I've got to get 2-3 forwards. So
when it comes to Bouchard, you looking long term or maybe kind of some sort of bridge contract?
It's going to have to be a bridge. Okay. They know it and we know it.
Yeah.
Is there any chance that you can get those 2 players, McLeod and Bouchard, signed before Saturday, before July 1st? Now that you've made these moves.
I'm not sure. It takes 2 to tangle, so I'm not sure what they're thinking.
Would that be advantageous for you, so that you kind of know exactly what you have going into free agency?
I mean, I kind of know where they're at because I've had multiple conversations with them. So, I've got a pretty good idea on. I've got money set aside for, to try to get a deal done.
What about Matthias Janmark? Any conversations with his camp?
I just talked to his agent today. I'm going to talk again tomorrow.
In your opinion, why didn't it work out with Yamamoto? What did you see in him? Why was it, like, when you signed him, you obviously thought he was going to be a good player for you guys, but why didn't he work out in your opinion?
Well, I think if the cap was 86 or 87, it would work out. Yeah. It's just the cap never moves, and obviously, Skinner's do a raise, Bouchard's do a raise, McLeod's do a raise. We made a deal for Ekholm at the deadline, so there's got to be, those same players that, you go back to March prior to the trade deadline. There was no Ekholm at $6 million, and Bouchard's at 1.7, McLeod's at 800, Skinner's at 750. Now Skinner's at 2.6. It's just the evolution of the way the system works. So the money gets moved around. I like Yamo. Again, when we did it last year, I had no idea what the cap was going to be this year. Hoping that maybe we could catch up and get the cap moving. Cap doesn't move. It goes from 82.5 to 83.5. So got to make difficult decisions.
Do you think Bill and Holloway can come and kind of fill that void a little bit next year? You're hoping?
Certainly hoping, yep.
I know we talked about the complications with the pandemic and what that's done for the cap, but can you kind of articulate what this is like for a general manager, just that you gave away 2 regular forwards and for nothing? Like, have you ever experienced something like this in all your time as a general manager, having to do something like that?
No, I think it's a unique time. Like I said, the pandemic hit in 2019. I came here in 2000. This is my 5th year. The Caps moved $2 million. I mean, it should probably move 3 to 4 every year. It should probably be. There was no pandemic, but there was a pandemic. So it's unique times.
How do you approach Philip Broberg, and when you got Kulak, Ekholm, and Nurse, the left side looks pretty full. He's got to play. Is it too simple to say he might just have to start in the American League?
I'll get to training camp. He can play right or he can play left. You need 7. You're not going to go with 6 all year. I'll make that decision when we come out of training camp exactly what we're gonna do.
Do you foresee keeping him?
In what sense?
Like not trading. You want to keep him around.
Yeah,
Kenny, on your top six, I mean, clearly there's some space there. Do you think with the money you have in free agency, you can find someone that'll at least push for that spot there, like push Holloway or push guys, or is that a spot?
space.
Well, I mean, I know you don't have a lot of cap space, but you cleared up a little bit here today. Like, are you going to be looking for someone that can compete for that top six spot that's sitting there?
If we can. I mean, it's all, Ryan, it's all cap related, right? So, if we go to July 1 and teams are spending, we're sitting on the sidelines. If the market's tight and you get July 2nd, money comes down, then we'll look.